Welcome in everyone, this is Sean with MTG808 Jr. and today we are going to be doing a deck tech on red-blue pirates. Right, we've kind of dug into some of the other tribes of Ixalan. We've done dinosaurs, we have done merfolk, but we have not yet done pirates, and I think that pirates got a lot of new tools with Rivals of Ixalan. However, before we jump into that deck tech, I want to make sure everyone knows about our Youth Championship Scholarship Tournament coming this May 2018. We'll be giving away $500 in scholarship to first place and $250 in scholarship to second place, and the format is standard Pauper. So, if you want to play in this tournament, if you are enrolling grades K through 12 and you live on Oahu, you are in the right place to learn about standard Pauper. Test your skills, learn as much as you can, see how you measure up, and you might find yourself walking away with $500 in scholarship. So, we've got our text version of our deck tech right here, Red Blue Pirates, and we will have a link to this in the description of the video, so you can check that out if you want to see. But for now, we're going to look at beautiful graphics of Magic Online here, and this deck, I want to start by talking about this card. This card is really the big incentive to play Pirates, right? 2 mana, instant, choose one, target creature gets +1/+1 and gains first strike until end of turn. You know, not a bad combat trick, but not the greatest. It's a little expensive for that effect, but the real awesome ability here is target pirate, so this is the other option, right? You can choose. Target pirate gets +1/+1 and gains double strike until end of turn, right? That's much better than first strike. In fact, it's twice as good as first strike. Double strike means that the creature deals first strike damage and it does regular damage. So it's basically doubling the amount of damage that your creature is going to deal if it's a pirate. Luckily, every creature in this deck is a pirate. So Buccaneer's Bravado means that if your opponent lets through some amount of damage, they need to make sure, you know, if they choose not to block your creatures or whatever, they need to make sure that they're not just going to die to a Buccaneer's Bravado. So, this card, very explosive way to potentially end the game. So that's what kind of tied the pirate deck together. Before Rivals of Ixalan came out, the only real pirate incentive was Pirate's Cutlass, which is still a pretty good incentive. 3 mana equipment. When it enters the battlefield, you may attach it to target pirate you control, so you don't have to pay the equip cost if you have a pirate in play when you cast this card. And equip creature gets +2/+1. You can move it around for an equip cost of 2. So Pirate's Cutlass, you know, you play it for 3 mana, immediately equip it to a pirate, and you can attack with it that turn. So it's a powerful equipment, and we're playing an aggro deck. So Pirate's Cutlass gives your creature +2 power. Buccaneer's Bravado can double that, so we definitely like playing equipment and being able to move around our power and toughness. Speaking of equipment, we're playing an aggro deck, which means that we are playing for Honed Khopesh. Honed Khopesh is much cheaper than Pirate's Cutlass. A little lower of an upside, but for 1 mana you play it, 1 mana to equip it, and the equipped creature gets +1/+1, right? If you follow the channel at all, basically every aggro deck that we play for Honed Khopesh. So the reason this is great is because the equip cost is so cheap, you can move it around a lot, so you can move it onto a creature you want to attack with, and then after you attack with it and get your damage in, you can move it onto a creature that you want to block with, and just do all sorts of fun, awesome stuff. So, moving on to our curve here, Honed Khopesh is on 1. Fanatical Firebrand, 1 mana, 1/1 haste. It is a pirate, so you can play it on turn 1, immediately start attacking, and then if your opponent starts playing creatures of their own, maybe creatures that are bigger than Fanatical Firebrand, you can tap Fanatical Firebrand, sack it. It deals 1 damage to target creature or player. So you can hit creatures specifically with this, right? If they have a 1 toughness creature, you can hit your opponent with it. You can finish off a creature if it already has damage on it from combat or from one of your burn spells. Just an all-around great card. And it's a pirate, so you can equip Pirate's Cutlass to it for free. Yeah, great magic card. Shock, we've talked about many times before. 1 red mana instant, deals 2 damage to target creature or player. You can shock your opponent, but you usually don't want to do that unless you're going to kill them that turn. So I've seen lots of students go turn 1 mountain, shock your face, and while that might feel good initially, right? Oh yeah, they're at 18. I'm, just 18 more points of damage to go. If they start overrunning you with creatures before you can get them down to 0, then you basically got nothing out of that shock, right? So you probably want to be casting shock on a creature, but you can go to the face if you need to. But when you do kill a creature, it's going to be great, right? You can kill most of the 2 mana creatures in this format have 2 or less toughness, so you're spending 1 mana to kill a 2 mana creature, and that is a really great tempo exchange. So Shock, just kind of an all-around great card. Alright, we've already talked about Buccaneer's Bravado, amazing magic card. We got 2 Lightning Strikes in the deck, and the reason I'm only playing 2 Lightning Strikes is because there are already a lot of spells in the deck, and it's specifically spells that kind of need creatures, right? Hone Kopesh does nothing, and if you don't have a creature in play, so does Pirate's Cutlass, so does Buccaneer's Bravado. So I'm only playing 2 Lightning Strikes so that I can play more creatures, but Lightning Strike is a great magic card. Here it is as an uncommon in Ixalan, so usually uncommons are not legal in Standard Pauper, but because Lightning Strike was printed as a common for in Theros, it is legal in Standard Pauper, so any card that is in Standard and has ever been printed as a common is legal in Standard Pauper as far as MTG 808 Junior is concerned. Some people play by different rules, in which case I would probably recommend replacing this with Magma Spray, but Lightning Strike, great card, kills a lot of creatures at instant speed, and it can go to your opponent's face if you just need to kill them, right? If they're at 3 life, then this card is great. Alright, looking at our creatures, we've got 12 really good 2-drops here. And having a 2-drop pirate is really important for this deck so that you can play a Pirate's Cutlass on turn 3 and equip it to a pirate. But Goblin Trailblazer, new addition from Rivals of Ixalan, 2 mana, 2/1 Menace Goblin Pirate, right? Menace means that they have to have 2 creatures blocking it, or they can't block it at all. Or I guess, excuse me, 2 or more creatures blocking it, or they can't block it at all. So if they only have 1 creature in play, this guy is basically unblockable, right? And that's really good when you start making it huge with Pirate's Cutlass. So Goblin Trailblazer, very good card, very aggressive card, good at pushing through damage. Kitesail Corsair, also a new addition from Rivals of Ixalan, 2 mana, 2/1. Kitesail Corsair has flying as long as it is attacking. So it can't block flyers, but we're an aggro deck, so we want to be attacking anyway. And, a 2-powered flyer for 2 mana is great. And, again, you play Pirate's Cutlass on turn 3, boom, you're attacking for 4 flying damage on turn 3. Which means that they're going to be at 16, which means that you're pretty close to being able to kill them with a Buccaneer's Bravado, right? If you have Kitesail Corsair plus Pirate's Cutlass, you cast Buccaneer's Bravado, it becomes a 5-power double strike creature. That means it's going to deal 10 damage, right? So some of the explosive turns that you can have here. The last 2-drop here, 2 mana, 2/2, you can pay a red and a colorless to give it +1/+0 until end of turn. That ability, it's okay at being able to attack into kind of bigger creatures, right? If your opponent has a 2/3 or a 1/3, you can attack into it and they can't block as long as you have 2 mana open. They have to think twice about blocking, or they might lose their creature as long as you have 2 mana open. So, you can bluff the ability by attacking with this with open mana. Or if you're mana flooded, this is a great card to just dump your mana into. Also, being able to increase the power, great with Buccaneer's Bravado. So that's our 2-drops. Moving on up the curve, we've got 4 Headstrong Brute. So it's a 3 mana, 3/3. It can't block, which is a pretty big downside, right? If we find ourselves on the back foot, that's going to be a huge, huge liability. However, it is a 3 mana, 3/3, which is very durable. Like most three mana creatures do not have 6 points worth of power and toughness. And as long as you control another pirate, which every other creature in the deck is a pirate, so as long as you control another creature, this guy has menace, right? So it has to be blocked by 2 creatures, which means that if you put Pirate's Cutlass on it, it becomes a 5/4 menace, right? Just really good at pushing damage through, but really awful at blocking. The last card here in the deck is 2 Deadeye Rig Hauler. It's a 4 mana 3/2, right? So it doesn't have the best stats for a 4 mana creature, but it has this sweet raid ability. So raid, a raid ability happens if you have attacked with a creature that turn when you cast this card. So what you want to do is probably play a Kitesail Corsair on turn 2, equip it with Pirate's Cutlass on turn 3, and attack. And then on turn 4, attack again. They've just taken 8 over the past 2 turns, and then you play your Deadeye Rig Hauler and bounce their creature that they were going to try race you with, right? So it's a little expensive. We're only playing 2 for that reason. We got more on the board, but it's a very solid Magic card. Moving over here to the sideboard, we've got some Magma Sprays. As I said, this deck is not that great at blocking, right? Kitesail Corsair is not a great blocker. Headstrong Brute can't block at all. So if your opponent is trying to attack you with small creatures, you want to have ways to kill those creatures. So Magma Spray here. You may want to diversify this slot with some numbers of Dual Shot as well. Magma Spray is better against the white deck with Unearth creatures, but Dual Shot might be better against decks with more 1 toughness creatures. So it's a trade-off. We got 2 Shatters to kill opposing equipment. Don't want too many of these because there aren't even a deck that has a lot of artifacts usually doesn't have a ton, so we don't want too many Shatter effects. The last 2 Lightning Strikes in here. If they have a lot of good targets for it, lots of 3 toughness creatures, or utility creatures that you really need to get rid of, you might want Lightning Strike. Over here we got some blue sideboard cards. Unsummon. Couldn't find room for this in the main deck, but it is a very good card when you're racing, right? If your opponent is trying to kill you, especially if they're trying to kill you with 3 to 4 or 5 drop creatures, unsummon, sending it back to their hand sets them way back on tempo. You lose the card because they get to keep their creature, but you lose your unsummon, but they lost all the mana they spent on that creature, and you only spent 1 mana on unsummon, so that's what we call a tempo play. Deadeye Rig Hauler, similar card to unsummon, right? If they have a lot of big creatures that you want to bounce, Deadeye Rig Hauler is great. And then Essence Scatter, equally good against big creatures, right? If your opponent is going to be playing lots of 3, 4, 5 drops, Essence Scatter might be good. We might want another blue source in the sideboard, right? The downside of playing a 2-color deck is that your mana base, especially a 2-color aggro deck, is that your mana base is never really perfect. We're playing 12 mountains here and 8 islands. And that's okay because we're only playing 6 blue cards in the main deck, but when we've got more blue cards in the sideboard, we might want more blue sources. So it's a consideration. I don't have a blue source, a blue land in my sideboard here, but you may want to think about putting one in your sideboard. So yeah, that's the pirate deck. It's really just trying to assemble Voltron and get off of big Buccaneers bravado. Mr. Chris Tom, who is the advisor of the Washington Middle School Magic Club, he has a blue-red Pirates deck that's a little bit different than this. I don't think he's playing Hone Kopesh, but I think Hone Kopesh should just be in every aggro deck. But he is playing Shipwreck Looter. Let me pull that up here. And Shipwreck Looter, boom. Raid, when Shipwreck Looter enters the battlefield, if you attack with a creature this turn, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. It's a good creature if you have too many spells in your hand and you need more creatures, or you have too many lands in your hand and you need more spells. So he's playing Shipwreck Looter, and he's also playing Siren Lookout. Here it is, Siren Lookout. 3 mana, 1/2 flying, and it explores when it comes into play. So it kind of lets you smooth your draws over. It is a pirate. It flies. So you can equip it with Pirate's Cutlass for free. But yeah, I am choosing not to play that card in favor of Hone Kopesh, and I don't think he's playing Deadeye Rig Hauler. But yeah, there are lots of options in terms of playing this archetype. The mana base might be a little bit weak. Highland Lake might be a consideration. So this card got reprinted in Rivals of Ixalan as an uncommon, but it was all of these dual lands, right? There's one dual land for each color pair. All of these dual lands were printed in the Amonkhet Deck Builder's Toolkit at common, so they are all legal in Standard Pauper. So Highland Lake might be an option. It comes into play tapped, it slows the deck down, but it will help you make sure that you have enough blue sources, right? That's the cost of playing a 2-color deck. And when aggro decks get mana screwed, or get color screwed, and they're not able to play their cards on time, it's really hard for them to come back if they do draw their source, a few turns too late. So that is Red Blue Pirates. Hope you enjoyed the deck tech. If you did, please leave a like. If you want to get more Standard Pauper content, been trying to make 2 to 3 videos every week. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you like what we do here at MTG 808 Junior and you want to support what we do, you want to support Youth Magic here on Oahu, you want to support Standard Pauper, please consider becoming a Patreon contributor. You can choose how much you want to contribute per month. No matter how much you contribute, you'll get access to our monthly expenditure report, so you'll see what we're spending money on. And there are other sweet perks as well, so check out our Patreon page if you want to support what we do. So thanks for stopping by. Leave a comment. If you want to see this deck turned into a gameplay video, be sure to leave a comment saying so. I definitely read and respond to every comment. So yeah, thanks for stopping by, and I will catch you next time. Peace.